Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in the next session. We call it as Finance Current Affairs. So this session is live on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 5 p.m. on the same Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel. And today we will be discussing 23rd to 25th of November 2025 related all the financial world news. In this session, we include the news from RBI, SEBI, as well as NABARD, and we also include the news from IRDAI, PFRDA, and the other banking and financial news, which are really very important for all the regulatory bodies exams as well as your bank examination. So before we start with the discussion, may I have a reply in the comment section that yes, I am audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go, so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay. And one more important thing, guys, before we start with the discussion, let's quickly share the link of this session with your friends so that more and more students, they can get to know that yes, the session is live and they can join us in this particular session for their upcoming finance current affairs coverage. बहुत सारे लोग बहुत बार मुझसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि सर, I will be appearing for RBI Grade B 2026. Do you think that today's current affairs is important? To be very honest, today's current affairs are not important, but the way we discuss the finance current affairs, where I cover the static or the conceptual part as well, keeping that in mind, if you are attending this particular session, you will have a pretty good hold on the finance concepts, which will help you to understand and memorize the finance related current affairs for your upcoming examination. So this session is not only for RBI Grade B, it is for out there all the exams where the finance related current affairs are asked. So keeping that in mind, RBI Grade B 2026 भले अभी दूर है, लेकिन बहुत सारे बाकी एग्जाम्स आपके लिए लाइंड अप है, एंड फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर एग्जामिनेशन दिस सेशन इज अ मस्ट वॉच सेशन. तो आइए जरा बिना किसी देरी के आज के सेशन की शुरुआत करते हैं. सबसे पहले अगर आप चाहते हैं सेशन के पीडीएफ को डाउनलोड करना, दैट विल बी अवेलेबल ऑन माई टेलीग्राम चैनल विच इज इकोनॉमिक्स बाय माधव अरोड़ा, और यू कैन यूज द हैंडल @Madhav Arora to join the channel. Here we go with the first news of the evening. The first news is really very important. अगर मैं पहली न्यूज की बात करूं, the first news is related to none other than UPI. We all know that UPI has achieved n number of benchmarks in the past few years, and adding on to its legacy, there is one more update related to UPI which has been shared, which I will be discussing in this particular session. So let's get started, guys, with the first point. The first point is UPI tips interlinkage, that is between India-Euro area. So RBI has announced a major fintech milestone. What is that? Basically, the theme of this announcement is cross-border payment modernization and global fintech corporation. अब ये पूरी कहानी है क्या, वो समझना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. सबसे पहली चीज, अगर इस कहानी को समझे तो उससे पहले एक पॉइंट है, क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट को समझना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट की अगर हम बात करें, फॉर एग्जांपल फ्रॉम इंडिया, you are an importer and you are paying for your import bills to an exporter who has exported the goods from Russia, that payment will be termed as क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट. अब क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट में कुछ इश्यूज हैं. वो इश्यूज क्या है सर? क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट स्लो है, कॉस्टली है, ट्रांसपेरेंट नहीं है, एंड इट इज heavily intermediated. That means it is heavily dependent on the SWIFT platform. I hope you must have heard about this SWIFT platform. It stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Transaction. So this is something which is really very important. और ये जो SWIFT platform है, it is very important with respect to the cross border transactions. And अब जैसे कि US के ऊपर sanction लगाया गया, after that sanction obviously SWIFT was not available for Russia because sanction has been applied on Russia by US. तो उस केस में somehow these initiatives, these tie-ups are going to help a lot. So Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. So the G20 roadmap for enhancing the cross-border payments aim for faster settlements, lower cost, greater ट्रांसपेरेंसी, वाइडर एक्सेस एंड इंटरऑपरेटेबिलिटी. टारगेट ये है कि आपका जो क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट ट्रांजैक्शन चार्जेस है, दैट शुड कम अराउंड 3%. तो इसी के फॉर्मेट पे आरबीआई ने 2025 में अनाउंस किया है इंटरलिंकेज बिटवीन यूपीआई एंड टिप्स. टिप्स की अगर मैं बात करूं, इट इज यूरो सिस्टम, इट इज एक्सटर्नल, इट इज यूरो सेंट्रल बैंक सिस्टम, विच इज दिस टाई अप. ऑब्वियसली इट्स अ ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव मॉडर्नाइजेशन जो किया गया है. अब इसमें अगर हम बात करें आरबीआई ने अनाउंस क्या किया है उसको अगर हम समझे तो आरबीआई स्टेटेड दैट यूपीआई विल बी इंटरकनेक्टेड विद टिप्स, that is the instant payment system of Eurozone. Eurozone is the group of nations which use a common currency, that is euro. Key holders will be RBI, then we have European Central Bank, but along with RBI we have NPCI, because NPCI wing, that is NPCI International Payment Limited, which is the subsidiary of NPCI, is responsible for UPI global arm. What is the objective? So the objective is very simple: instant, low cost and transparent cross-border remittance between India and Euro area. Euro areas की बात करें, we are talking about the nations which use the euro as common currency. We are talking about 20 euro nations which have been included in this. तो अब होगा क्या? अब UPI की मदद से, अपने UPI के प्लेटफॉर्म से you can make the payment to the one who is sitting in Europe in the Eurozone, और उनको वो जो फंड्स रिसीव होंगे दैट विल बी रिसीव थ्रू टिप्स एंड इट विल बी क्रेडिटेड इनटू देयर बैंक अकाउंट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ यूरोज ओनली, बट दिस ट्रांसफर और दिस सेटलमेंट ऑफ पेमेंट विल बी, दिस ट्रांसफर और settlement of the payment will be instant. So this marks the first deep payment interoperability between India and the major advanced economy payment system, that is TIPS. अब इसमें अगर मैं UPI के बारे में थोड़ी सी बात करूं तो UPI को लॉन्च किया गया था 2016 में. Over 12 billion plus monthly transactions are conducted on regular basis. Features है real time settlement, mobile based transactions and interoperability, which is very important. Operated by NPCI, लेकिन जो global expansion है that is taken care by NPCI wing, which stands for NIPL. दूसरी तरफ अगर हम बात करें टिप्स की, टिप्स क्या है सर? टिप्स को लॉन्च किया गया था नवंबर 2018. It is operated by Euro system, that is the Euro Central Bank, that is the European Central Bank, as well as national central banks, which are the banks of the Eurozone nations. पर्पस क्या है सर? पर्पस बड़ा सिंपल है, पैन यूरोपियन इंस्टेंट सेटलमेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोवाइड किया टिप्स ने. फीचर्स सेम है as that of UPI, 24/7 365 availability, real time transaction settlement will be done, and bank to bank and person to person transactions are allowed. अब इनका हुआ interlinkage. इसका मतलब ये, the one who is using UPI in India and the other one who is using tips in Euro or in the European area can send money instantly without depending on high cost SWIFT routes, without depending on the correspondent banks, and without waiting for the slow settlement cycles. Now UPI से आपने directly funds transfer कर दिए to tips, यानी कि इंडिया से बैठा इंडिविजुअल अब बहुत easily fund transfer कर सकता है to a one who is sitting in Eurozone or one of the nation in the Eurozone. अब अगर हम इसका एनालिसिस देखें, why analytically this interlinkage is very important, तो इंडिया ने G20 समिट को होस्ट किया था इन 2023 एंड इंडिया स्ट्रांगली पुश्ड इंटरऑपरेटेबिलिटी, डिजिटल पब्लिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कॉर्पोरेशन एंड फास्टर एंड चीपर रेमिटेंस, जिसको कहीं ना कहीं एक डायरेक्ट इंप्लीमेंटेशन किया गया विद द हेल्प ऑफ यूपीआई एंड टिप्स लिंक. अब इससे होगा क्या सर? इट विल रिड्यूसेस द कॉस्ट ऑफ रेमिटेंस. जो करंट इंडिया यूरोपियन यूनियन या मैं कहूं कि यूरोजोन का कॉरिडोर रेमिटेंस है, दैट इज अराउंड 4 to 8% ऑन एन एवरेज. लेकिन अगर आप यूपीआई से डायरेक्टली टिप्स को लिंक कर रहे हैं एंड यू आर मेकिंग द इंस्टेंट ट्रांजैक्शन सेटलमेंट्स, दैट कॉस्ट विल बी ड्रास्टिकली लो as low as 1%. अब इससे होगा क्या सर? ऑब्वियसली इससे टूरिज्म बूस्ट होगा. स्टूडेंट को पेमेंट करने में या फैमिलीज को, अपने रिलेटिव्स को, स्टूडेंट्स को पेमेंट करने में आसानी होगी, तो टूरिज्म स्पेंडिंग इजी हो गया, स्टूडेंट फी ट्रांसफर इजी हो गई, स्मॉल वैल्यू बिजनेस पेमेंट्स आर नाउ इजी, एंड टिकटिंग, हॉस्पिटैलिटी, रिटेल ट्रांजैक्शंस विल बी इजी for those who are traveling from India to Europe and Europeans who are traveling from Eurozone to India. Last is it enhances rupee and euro digital connect. अब अगर यूरोपियन यूनियन या मैं कहूँ यूरो और इंडिया या इंडियन रुपीस का जो लिंक है वो स्ट्रांग हुआ, then undoubtedly the dependency on US dollar will fall down, and if the dependency on US dollar fall down, it will result in, I'll not say appreciation of Indian rupees, but इसकी वजह से जो depreciation हो रहा था, or because of the dependency on US dollar, that depreciation will reduce, or that impact or that demand will reduce. Moving on to the next point, UPI का ये कोई पहला tie up नहीं है. UPI is already live in UAE. It has already tied up with PayNow of Singapore. It is already live in Nepal, Mauritius, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, France in limited manner, as well as in Oman. So Europe-wide integration will be UPI's biggest leap. It is UPI's biggest achievement till now. अब होगा कैसे, मैं आपको स्टेप्स बताता हूं जस्ट आपके अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए. इंडियन यूजर्स दे विल इनिशिएट क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट इन यूपीआई ऐप. यूपीआई रूट्स रिक्वेस्ट टू NIPL. NIPL कनेक्ट करेगा टू यूरोपियन सेंट्रल बैंक टिप्स रेल्स. टिप्स वेरीफाई करेगा बैंक को, पेमेंट सर्विस प्रोवाइडर को. रियल टाइम सेटलमेंट होगी इन यूरो. बेनिफिशियरी रिसीव द फंड्स इंस्टेंटली. तो जो बेनिफिशियरी है उसे इंस्टेंटली फंड्स रिसीव हो जाएंगे. एंड ऑब्वियसली ये जो सेटलमेंट होगी दैट विल बी डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द एक्सचेंज रेट बिटवीन INR एंड यूरोस. अब अगर मैं इसमें रेगुलेटरी एस्पेक्ट्स की बात करूं, ऑब्वियसली इफ यू आर गोइंग फॉर क्रॉस बॉर्डर ट्रांजैक्शंस देयर आर मल्टीपल रेगुलेटर्स व्हिच आर गोइंग टू बी इन्वॉल्व्ड. द फर्स्ट वन इज फॉरेक्स कन्वर्जन विल बी हैंडल्ड बाय द ऑथराइज्ड एंटिटीज. एंटी मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग एंड KYC compliance will be followed. Pricing determined mutually by intermediaries. Data localization norms respected per RBI and as per RBI and ECB rules. तो डेटा लोकलाइजेशन नॉर्म्स जो है वो एज इट इज होगी. अगर RBI चाहता है कि आपका डेटा सिर्फ इंडिया में रहे, इट विल स्टे इन इंडिया. इफ इट इज बीइंग शेयर्ड दैट ऑल फॉर्मेट्स विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. तो अब इंडिया की ये जो स्ट्रैटेजी है फॉर ग्लोबल पेमेंट, इट इज बेसिकली इंडिया इज राइट नाउ द ग्लोबल पेमेंट leader because of the highest number of digital transactions which are conducted in India. If I talk about the facts, it says around 48% of the world's total digital transactions are happening alone in India. If I talk about fintech partnership agreements with Singapore, finance, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Mauritius, Bhutan has somehow led to the digital payment infrastructure diplomacy. NPIL-led international expansion. This aligns with RBI goals to reduce remittance cost. इससे रेमिटेंस कॉस्ट कम हो रही है, ये RBI का एम है. इंडिया सॉफ्ट पावर वाया डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. तो इंडिया की जो एक कहीं ना कहीं वजूद है, कहीं ना कहीं एग्जिस्टेंस है इन द इंटरनेशनल मार्केट, इट इज इंक्रीजिंग विद द हेल्प ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर टाइप. इंडिया का जो प्रेजेंस है इट इज इंक्रीजिंग ओवर द पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट वी हैव BIS इनोवेशन हब. Collaboration will be done and G20 priorities are met with respect to the same. अब इससे related कुछ important facts हैं जो you need to remember. First is India Singapore Pay Now UPI link. Then India Nepal, India Mauritius has already launched the UPI acceptance. UPI QR in France has been launched in the past itself. Then we have RBI internationalization of rupee efforts will be supported by this particular initiative, क्योंकि अब जो dependency on the foreign currency to make settlement with India will decrease, क्योंकि यूरोप में बैठकर आप अपने टिप से इंडिया के सेलर को पे कर सकते हैं. तो इसमें क्या क्या याद रखना है? RBI याद रखना है, यूरोपियन सेंट्रल बैंक को याद रखना है, NPCI इंटरनेशनल पेमेंट लिमिटेड को याद रखना है. पर्पस क्या है सर? इंस्टेंट, लो कॉस्ट, ट्रांसपेरेंट क्रॉस बॉर्डर रेमिटेंसेस बिटवीन इंडिया एंड यूरोप. ये आपको याद रखना होगा. What are the benefits? So cheaper remittance, faster payments, tourism, student payment boost, UPI global expansion and strengthen India's digital cooperation with the European nations. एक बात आपको पता होगी कि India is the largest remittance or largest inward remittance accepting or receiving country. More than $100 billion of remittance is received every year and India is on the first rank. If you are making these efforts to make this remittance easy, cheap, as well as instant, obviously this remittance received by India will boost, it will increase, as well as not only the values will increase, the ease which has been given to the senders will ultimately result in overall growth in the foreign exchange reserves of the country because of immense inward remittances, immense inward receiving of the foreign currency over the period of time. Now let's go with the first question on the same. So RBI announcement on interlinking UPI with tips primarily align with which of the following global initiative? First one is Basel III norms on liquidity risk. No sir. OECD guidelines on digital taxation. No sir. FATF recommendation on virtual assets. No sir. It is primarily in line with the G20 roadmap for enhancing cross-border payments. समझ आई बात? Is this point clear to everyone? If it is clear, give me yes sir, so that we can move on to the next question. अगला question ध्यान से देखिएगा. इस question का screenshot लीजिए. This is going to be your homework. So second question in today's session is now your homework. Take a screenshot और इस क्लास के बाद कमेंट सेक्शन में मुझे इसका आंसर जरूर टाइप कीजिएगा. I will be sharing the correct answers as well. अगली न्यूज की ओर बढ़ते हैं। अगली न्यूज काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है। एक तरफ तो प्राइवेट बैंक है, लेकिन जो प्राइवेट बैंक ने एमओयू साइन किया है दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, और उसका इंपैक्ट काफी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। उसी की वजह से आई हैव इंक्लूडेड दिस पर्टिकुलर न्यूज इन आवर डिस्कशन। सो लेट्स डिस्कस दिस पर्टिकुलर न्यूज, प्लीज पे अटेंशन। सबसे पहला है क्या न्यूज? IDFC First Bank has signed MOU with FPSB, has signed MOU with FPSB India as an approved corporate partner. So first of all, my first question to everyone is how you define this word FPSB? Any idea? Have you heard about it? Have you heard about it? Just give me yes or no in the comment section. If you know about it, give me yes. If you don't know, just type N. Because this is something really very important. इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा अंडरस्टैंडिंग होना काफ़ी ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, सो दैट यू कैन रिमेंबर दिस न्यूज़ फॉर योर अपकमिंग एग्जामिनेशन। वरना ये न्यूज़ निकल जाएगी आपके दिमाग से, आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा। यू डोंट इवन रिमेंबर कि आपने ये न्यूज़ पढ़ी थी। एनी आइडिया इन द कमेंट सेक्शन? इफ यू डोंट नो, नथिंग टू वरी, जस्ट टाइप N so that I can give you the answer. Anyone out there? No? Okay. So when we talk about this particular term, this term is really very important, और इस term को समझना काफ़ी ज़्यादा important है. If I talk about this FPSB India, it is basically strengthening its presence among the financial institutions and promoting the adoption of the certified financial planner certification, which is in the main stream banking through the partnership with major banks. So it has partnered with not only IDFC First, it has also partnered with SBI. And under this particular partnership, their ultimate aim is very important, and you need to understand this particular aim. What is this particular aim we are talking about? So if I talk about the FPSB ultimate aim, it stands for Financial Planning Standard Board Limited India. I repeat, Financial Planning Standard Board Limited India, the global standards setting body for the financial planning professionals as well as for the owner of इंटरनेशनल सर्टिफाइड फाइनेंशियल प्लानर्स। तो ये पॉइंट आपको काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है जो समझना होगा। नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट इट मोर, लेट्स डिस्कस दिस मोर। सो द फर्स्ट पॉइंट वी हैव, ड्यू टू द ग्रोइंग इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग इन इंडिया, growing importance of financial planning in India, we know that with rising financialization of savings, that means we are shifting to mutual funds, insurance, or market-linked products, qualified financial planners are increasingly important to protect the retail investors from mis-selling. So institutions, they are strengthening their wealth advisory, they are strengthening their risk profiling, compliances, client suitability framework, basically to meet the global best practices. So FPSB is the Financial Planning Standard Board in India. That is the global certifying authority for certified financial planner, a gold standard qualification in the financial planning. If you want to be a financial planner, you need to seek the approval, you need to seek the certification. Why it matters now? So we know that India has witnessed major reforms. We have reforms related to digital lending guidelines. We have reforms related to RIA regulations, PFRD, IRDAI regulations have been updated in the past. So banks, they are increasingly adopting this CFP certification basically to improve advisory quality in wealth management, so that their advisory quality, which they are giving the advice in terms of wealth management, should improve. If I talk about IDFC First Bank partnership with FPSB India, it aligns with the sector shift towards professionalization and standardization of advisory rules. बहुत बार होता है, you go for a bank and you seek investment advice from the bank, but now this investment advice will be more standard, will be more legal, will be more professional, because these institutes, they are seeking the certification. We call it as CFP, which stands for Certified financial planner which is provided by Financial Planning Standard Board. ठीक है? So MOU has been signed between IDFC and FPSB to become approved corporate partner. So the subsidiary of Financial Planning Standard Board Limited is FPSB India, and this MOU has been signed so that it can become an approved corporate partner. What will be the objectives or what are the objectives of this particular MOU? क्यों साइन किया गया, क्या लॉजिक है? पहला, upskilling and certification. So training and certifying wealth management regional managers and private banking teams ये provide किया जाएगा. The focus will be on CFP certification, financial planning frameworks, risk management, estate planning and retirement planning. This will be targeted. Second is talent development and hiring support. FPSB India will support IDFC Bank in hiring CFP certified professionals, creating career progression pathways as well as enhanced bank advisory capabilities. Third is joint strategic program. Both organizations, they will conduct workshops, webinars, thought leadership initiatives, industry-led financial planning sessions will be done. उससे होगा क्या? Sir, it will strengthen the financial planning ecosystem in the country like India, which is very important. Now the next point is why this MOU is significant. So it is significant for wealth management services so that high quality advice should be provided to the investor. For the financial system, it aligned with the global practices under ISO 22222. अगर आप नाबार्ड के 2024 एग्जामिनेशन को याद करें तो वहां पे एक ISO बेस्ड क्वेश्चन आया था, तो यहां पे याद रखिएगा ISO 22222 is what? Sir, it is the global best practices under ISO 22222, which is personal financial planning standards. So personal financial planning standards are included under ISO 22222. Last but not the least is it will strengthen the footprint among the leading financial institutions. Of IDFC, SBI ने tie up किया. We are expecting that the other banks and other financial institutes will tie up with the same bank in the upcoming days to go. So approved corporate partner MOU has been signed between FPSB India and IDFC First Bank, and this tie-up in the past has been already signed by SBI as well. So IDFC is not the first bank. SBI has also been in the same list. Clear हो गया point? Any doubt till this point, guys? So SBI, we all know that it is the largest public sector bank. It has also became the authorized corporate partner with FPSB India in June 2025, and now we have in November 2025, that is IDFC First Bank. Let's try to solve a question. What is the primary objective of MOU signed between IDFC First Bank and FPSB India under the ACP program to introduce new digital lending platform? नहीं sir, new digital lending platform के लिए तो ये tie up नहीं किया गया. So this tie-up has been done to upskill wealth management team with professional financial planning certification. That is true. To launch a joint retail banking, no. To expand IDFC Bank's presence, no. So this has been done with a logical purpose to upskill wealth management teams with professional financial planning certifications. I hope the point is clear till now. If you have any doubt till this point, guys, you may ask please. Else we will move to the next point. Okay, moving on to the next point. This is the question which is your homework. So take a screenshot and give me the answers in the comment section after this class itself. I hope you have taken the screenshot. Moving on to the next question or the next news. The third news of the day is FAB and Hub 71 partner with UAE India CEPA Council to support Indian startups. So Indian startup ecosystem, very important. India-UAE tie-up, very important, and that is the reason this news is really very important. So let's try to decode what is it. So India and UAE, they are rapidly deepening their economic partnership. Why I'm saying this? Because India and UAE, they share one of the strongest economic relationship in Asia. India-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement was signed back in May 2022, which has liberalized trade, investment and services provided cross countries. Post CEPA bilateral trade, post CEPA, the bilateral trade, that means trade between India and UAE, import as well as exports, have crossed a mark of $85 billion, making UAE India's third largest partner, after US. तो अगर हम US के बाद अगर हम बात करें, one of the largest partners, that is UAE, it is the third largest trading partner. Apart from trade, these both countries are now focusing on technology collaboration, startup ecosystem, financial connectivity, innovation and entrepreneurship, and इन्हीं grounds के ऊपर ये tie up किया गया. What is this news all about? I'll come to it. So in 2025, India and UAE, they have jointly advanced local currency settlement system where INR and dirham are basically settled down. For example, if you are making a trade, you can make the payment. If you are an importer from India, then you can make the payment in AED, and if you are exporter from India, then you may receive the fund transactions against your bill in the INR itself. We all know that AED, that stands for Arab Emirates Dirham, which is equals to around 24 Indian rupees. So this collaboration was first done. Second is investment via Abu Dhabi Investment Authority and IHSC in India's renewable, logistic and tech sector has increased. Expansion of India-UAE startup bridge, for that CEPA initiative was a boom, or I would say is a bliss. Middle East, especially Abu Dhabi and Dubai, has emerged as the global innovation hub, attracting Indian fintechs, deep tech and AI startups to flourish over there. So this partnership between FAB and Hub 71 directly strengthen this innovation corridor. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर ये FAB क्या है, और क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर ये Hub 71 क्या है. Let's talk about it. FAB stands for First Abu Dhabi Bank, and Hub 71, Abu Dhabi's global tech ecosystem. So First Abu Dhabi Bank and Abu Dhabi's global tech system or ecosystem has signed a strategic partnership with UAE India CEPA Council to support and scale Indian startups globally, not only in UAE but globally via UAE. So what is the aim? Sir, aim will be cross-border innovations under CEPA framework. It will provide Indian startups with access to global market, funding, UAE's technology and regulatory ecosystem. It will strengthen India and UAE's position as leading Asia Middle East innovation corridor. Key elements क्या है सर? अगर मैं FAB की बात करूं, support for startup winners. So FAB will support one of the 5 winning startups selected under UAE India Startup Series by providing tailored banking solution. तो उन्हें एक beneficial banking solution मिलेगा, maybe lower rates पे credit, easily availability of credit, even if your documentation is not 100% fulfilled. Certain we can say time gaps or certain time lapses can be provided. Then mentorship will be provided for different sectors by the experts. It will give you introduction to corporate partners, investors and regulators. That means you will get introduced to the corporate partners, investors and regulators who are ready or who may be ready in near future to invest in the Indian startups which are operating outside India as well. Role of FAB will be facilitates financial advisory and cross-border financial solutions. It will strengthen connectivity between Indian founders and UAE markets, as well as it will drive investment activation and fintech collaboration under the CAPA agreement which has been signed between India and UAE. Next we have Hub 71. Hub 71 is Abu Dhabi's leading global tech ecosystem which will provide 2 major programs. First, immersion program for 5 winners. It will onboard and accelerate market entry in Abu Dhabi. Curated mentorship will be provided and industry-led knowledge sessions will be provided. Second is access program which will given only to one selected startup. Full soft lending in Abu Dhabi. That means you can set up your business in Abu Dhabi. Market exploration and integration and access to the venture capital network, corporate partners and regulatory pathways will also be provided. For Indian startups, it will provide access to UAE's high value market which will be typically, not obviously only, but typically for fintech, AI, deep tech, health tech, smart mobility and whatnot. If I talk about the barriers, so it will reduce barriers in licensing, regulatory approvals, as well as fundraising connections. For UAE innovation ecosystem, if I talk about the UAE innovation ecosystem. It will attract high quality Indian founders. It will boost Abu Dhabi's global tech positioning via Hub 71. अगर यहां तक सब क्लियर है, give me yes. Moving on to the conclusion part. So the conclusion part will be this particular tie-up will undoubtedly, it will strengthen the CAPA beyond trade, including technology, entrepreneurship as well as innovation. तो ट्रेड के ऊपर जाकर भी या उसके आगे भी एक collaboration beneficial दिया जाएगा. Let's try to solve a question. What is the primary objective of strategic partnership between FAB, Hub 71 and UAE India CPA Council? Answer will be to promote bilateral agriculture trade, no. To facilitate cross-border entrepreneurship and support Indian startups in scaling through the UAE, that is correct. So answer to this particular question is going to be the B option. Clear ho gaya ji? I hope the point is clear. Okay. The next, that means the sixth question of this session is again going to be a homework. So take the screenshot. So 2, 4, 6. The sixth question is now your homework. Take the screenshot and I will be looking forward for the answers in the comment section. Last news of the day. The last news talks about S&P Global rating. S&P Global rating, that is the Economic Outlook Asia Pacific report which has been presented by S&P. We all know that S&P is one of the leading credit rating agency in the world along with Moody's and Fitch, and this is not the first time that we are going to discuss about the GDP growth estimates which have been given for India in the current quarter. In that particular case, we have n number of other options as well. If you remember correctly, in my previous session, which was previous to previous session, we have talked about these percentages. We have talked about the growth rates in much detail. And if I talk about these growth rates again, then I would come up in this manner. The first one is in November 2025, India Rating and Research, which is a subsidiary of Fitch Group, has come up with India's GDP growth rate of 7.2% for the quarter 2, that is July to September. The estimate is 7.2%. Secondly, if I talk about the more additions, the more additions into it is the estimates which have been given by the other organizations, like we have Moody's. Moody's has estimated that India's GDP will grow 7% in the calendar year 2025, 6.4% in the calendar year 2026 and 6.5% in the calendar year 2027. तो मैं लिख देता हूँ ताकि आपके पास हो. So according to Moody's, India's GDP is going to grow by 7% calendar year 2025, 6.4% calendar year 26. Then we have calendar year 2027, the growth estimate is 6.5%. On the other side, if I talk about India Rating and Research, Fitch subsidiary operating in India, it is estimating that India's GDP will grow by 7.2% in the second quarter of 2025-26. In the second quarter of 2025-26. According to the next report we have from SBI, Sir, SBI has come up with a report that India's second quarter 2025-26 will record a GDP growth rate of 7.5%. Will record a GDP growth rate of 7.5%, which is really very important. On the other side, if I talk about RBI, sir, RBI estimate for the same quarter is 7%. RBI estimate is 7%. SBI report, Eco-Rap report is 7.5%. Fitch owned India Research and Rating 7.2%, and Moody's has given this much estimates for the India's GDP growth. And now we will be adding the next information to our bucket, and that is from S&P, but before I go ahead, ICRA has also estimated that the second quarter will witness a growth of 7%. ICRA has also come up with the estimate that India's GDP will grow by 7% in the second quarter of the 2025-26. ठीक है जी, clear हो गया point? I guess each and every point is clear to you. If you still have any doubt till this point, you may ask please. अब चलते हैं और बात करते हैं इस बार की रिपोर्ट की. तो S&P Global Rating है, it is one of the big three international rating agencies along with Moody's and Fitch. Its periodic economic outlook reports are closely followed by central banks, foreign investors, sovereign wealth funds, and global markets, and even by the aspirants like you, so that we can answer the questions in the examination. So Asia Pacific economic outlook is particularly important for India due to its high integration with global trade cycles, dependence on tech services, and then we have exposure to the global commodity prices. So what is the estimate? It says that for the financial year 2025-26, India will be growing at a rate of 6.5%. They have retained their estimate, and for 2026-27, they have enhanced their estimate to 6.7%. So it has also came up with the same statement that India is one of the more fastest growing major economies in the Asia Pacific region. Is this point clear? If it is clear, just give me yes, sir. Okay. Now, if I talk about the key highlights for the first quarter, we all know that the first quarter has recorded a GDP growth of 7.8%. On the other side, if I talk about Asia Pacific economic outlook, S&P has raised GDP forecast for the Asia Pacific region to 4.2%, which was earlier 4%. Now, the question is again the same. Why every organization is optimistic for India? So, the optimism for India is because of strong domestic demand, favorable monsoon, GST reforms and compliance improvement, as well as infrastructure push, which is all in one, pushing the demand, resulting in increase in GDP growth, resulting in increase in production in the market. Along with that, we have the last point, which is the pressure on the Indian rupees. S&P has also given a note that Indian rupees is under pressure due to continuous capital outflow in the form of disinvestment of FDI or FPI, uncertainty caused due to the unexpected high US tariffs, and absence of bilateral trade agreements with US. This results in uncertainty not only on uncertainty not on Indian economy but on the Indian rupees, because if our exports are impacted, obviously inflow of foreign currency will be impacted, dependency on foreign currency will increase, that will result in increase in the gap. If I talk about S&P, sir, its headquarters is in US. For that matter, Moody's, Fitch, they all are in US. They all are US based credit rating agencies, and it was founded in 1860, which is one of the oldest and the largest credit rating agency in the world. I have a question for you. Which of the following statements about S&P Global Rating Economic Outlook Asia Pacific first quarter 2026 are correct? S&P retained India's GDP growth forecast at 6.5% at 6.5% for the financial year 2025-26. Yes, sir, this is absolutely correct. S&P revised India's 2026-27 inflation forecast downward to 2.5%. No, sir. It has revised this for 2025-26. That is the reason it is wrong. If it would have been 2026 financial year, then it would have been correct. लेकिन इसकी वजह से गलत हो गया. India real GDP was 7.8% in first quarter. That is correct. Asia Pacific GDP growth has been increased from 4 to 4.2%. Correct. S&P attributes India's growth outlook because of strong domestic demand, because of GST reforms, as well as favorable monsoon. This is also correct. So keeping this in mind, B option 1, 3, 4, 5 are correct, but the second statement is wrong. I hope it is clear. Take the screenshot for the last and the 8th question of your evening and give me the answers in the comment section. What is bilateral? Bilateral basically means the trade between the two nations. Trade between the two nations is known as bilateral, the word bilateral trade. But now the question is bilateral trade. What do you ask me? Bilateral trade agreements. What does it mean? So when we talk about bilateral trade agreements, what it basically means, bilateral trade agreement is a formal agreement or a contract or an accord which is signed between two countries obviously that outlines the terms for trade, that outlines the terms for trade, commerce and investment between the two nations. So these agreements, they basically grant professional trading conditions. It boosts economic growth and reduce the trade barriers. In some cases, they reduce the tariffs. In some cases, they reduce the quotas, while also standardizing the regulation and labor standards, which is utmost required. So it's a two-party agreement. It provides market access to both the nations in their own markets. It will have reduced barriers. It will have standardized regulations. Ki RBI ki regulation alag, Federal Reserve ki alag. Let's come up with a standardized regulation which will be followed, which will be implemented on everyone. It will come up with mutual benefits, and there will be investment and commerce, which means beyond goods. These agreements, they also cover the rules for commerce, investment as well as transit. That is the reason these agreements are very important, which likely is not the case between India and US right now. Got it, guys? Take the screenshot. We'll catch you in the next session. Don't forget to join the Telegram channel to download the PDF. Before I conclude, guys, I have a very important information which I would obviously like to share with you. The information is, you must be in a dilemma that whether you should prepare for RBI Grade B examination or not, or whether you should prepare for SEBI Grade A or NABARD Grade A examination or not. So in order to answer all these questions, guys, in order to answer all these questions, I have a very important information to share with you. Testbook has come up with Super Friday sale, where you can subscribe to our Super Pack, which will give you access to multiple exams under a single subscription. Use the code MADHAV, that is Madhav, to join or to subscribe our Super Pack for 18 months, and that will be provided at just 9299. And along with that, there is one more information to share. If you enroll right away, then you will get 50% cashback on clearing phase 1 of any exam because you have enrolled in Super Pack. Second is 100% cashback if you clear phase 2. And if you clear phase 2, we will provide you free tickets, free accommodation and free offline mock interview for your final phase. This is what is available. If you want to join, do join right away today itself to have this benefit of cashback. Use the code MADHAV to enjoy maximum discount. No, RTGS doesn't support. Only NEFT is there, which also allows you to transfer the funds outside India, and that too only in one nation, that is Nepal, and that too up to a particular limit. Is it clear now? Is it clear? Sudhanshu, if it is clear, just give me yes, sir, so that we can conclude. It is a gross individual payment system only. Don't involve multiple retail payments. No, it involves multiple retail payments. It involves multiple retail payments. It's a gross settlement. It is not the net settlement the way we have in case of NEFT. But in case of RTGS, the minimum limit is 2 lakhs, which is not very handy for the retail payments we are conducting or we are making. That is the reason. Is it clear, Sudhanshu? May I have a thumbs up? If all your doubts are clear, use the code MADHAV to enjoy maximum benefits on our upcoming courses, especially the Super Pack, which is available for all the exams related to regulatory bodies. Even the ECGC PO examination. ECGC PO examination is also included in this Super Pack for you all under this Friday sale. Join Super Pack with the code MADHAV. Good luck. God bless you all. See you soon. Bye-bye. Take care. God bless you all.